returns to mission Debrief. We're playing every mission in the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along or have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Gravemind mission on the next episode. What? What is that? What is that? This episode, we're debriefing Quarantine Zone from Halo 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Don't make me go back to the library.
Don't do it.
Don't, please, no.
Alright, last mission, the Brutes took over as the primary protectors of the Covenant due to the death of Regret.
I bet they're regretting doing that.
Hi-yo.
Hey!
Good night, everybody, and that'll do it for our debriefing of... The remaining two prophets, Truth and Mercy, have a chat with 343 Guilty Spark and learn that the Index is needed to fire the Halo and fulfill the Great Journey. Arby is sent down to the surface to obtain the Sacred Icon. This mission, after a rendezvous with Urtas, the Arbiter continues his journey toward the Index to enable the Covenant to fire Delta Halo. Fighting through countless Flood and Sentinels on a variety of vehicles, Fel and Urtas realize that the humans are on the same path and must race to the heart of the library on a super slow gondola.
Woo! Gondolas!
Boo, gondolas.
Halo 2 Gondolas.
Gondola edition.
Gondola simulator.
Date of the game is November 3rd, 2552, same day as the previous one. We kind of kick it off with Urtas giving a little rah-rah speech, getting his reinforcements. Like, let's go to the Index. Let's do it. Let's all kill ourselves.
I mean, basically that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. They don't know that yet, but...
Well, they know that the parasite is there.
That's right. So they do gotta get fired up to go kill some more Flood. Are you guys sick of the Flood yet?
At all
like,
times.
we love the Flood. The love's super important, but there's a lot of Flood in this game already.
Well,
we've
they
only had one
mix
mission
up
of
the
it.
Flood in this mission a bit.
No, we had Flood in the on the mining facility.
But they're driving vehicles.
Oh, you did. Sorry. Yeah, this is crazy. This is the vehicle. This is pretty nuts.
Just them in vehicles is really interesting. And also, like, they'll knock you out of vehicles and get on top of your vehicles and attack them and stuff. So it kind of adds a different level of difficulty. Yeah, it just makes it. They're obviously trying to make the Flood more interesting because we fought them so much.
That too. And this is the only level in the Halo series, the Flood control vehicles, excluding like the Pelicans and the Crash Line and stuff like that in other games.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of interesting, yeah. And I think maybe it's probably because it's the only one that there's a Gravemind involved in, so therefore the Flood are more complicated or more complex than they are in other versions.
Interesting.
What about
David? Do you like this mission? Because you've said before that typically this feels like a mission that you and your buddies would play because it's like big, wide open, lots of vehicles, that sort of stuff.
It's fun for that. It is definitely because you got a lot of vehicles in this mission, which I like, but then it has a gondola, which I don't like. So like the first portion of it definitely can be fun, and there's a lot of vehicles in this. Pretty much almost all of them in various forms are available to be used. So you got Wraiths, you got blanking on normal Scorpions, you got Ghosts, Warhogs, you got Gauss Hogs, there's... What else you got?
Spectres?
Spectres.
What the hell is a Spectre? What is that? What are you guys talking about? You're sending all these pictures to the chat, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I've never seen that thing before in my goddamn life. Colin's what's the new vehicle in this mission? I'm like, new what?
Yeah.
Krista, I do not know how you don't know this. It is just so bizarre to me.
I don't play the Flood missions very often. Only when I'm going through the game. And honestly, like, I go straight for the Ghost at the beginning of the mission.
You've never seen them in even the multiplayer or anything?
No. Look,
Okay.
I did not have my own Xbox when Halo 2 was coming out, so I did not play
Here come the
multiplayer Halo
excuses.
2.
Here's the excuse
I'm
train.
I
young,
was like
blah, blah, blah.
10.
I'm a big
I was
baby
like
Krista.
6.
Whatever. Get over it, Krista.
You want a 6-year-old to learn how to use the internet? What are you guys
Yes.
doing?
I want them to learn how to
I
play
should
Halo
be playing Fortnite
with all the other 6-year-olds.
with all the other 6-year-olds, yeah.
that Spectre shows up. So first, we kind of go down into this area where we see an enforcer fly by, and there's a bunch of flood around. And then you proceed through, and then that's where you can hop on this Spectre. It's either the Ghost or the Spectre at the start, right, David?
Pretty much, yeah. You get a choice, but if you're brown, you don't realize that.
Apparently, I just skip the Spectre every time.
When I'm doing solo, I pretty much get in a Ghost, because there's no point in a Spectre unless you want to try out and let the AI drive for you, which you can, or you can drive yourself, which isn't as fun. Because then you're. But I've done it a few times where I try and give the elites. Like, there's 2 elites that sit on the side and then one in the turret. You can try and give the elites on the side like power weapons if you can find them. Like sniper rifles or beam rifles are pretty good if they're around. I can't remember, but mostly you probably want to give them carbines. But it's pretty much a Covenant Warhog for lack of any other terminology of what it is, and that's pretty much its function too. It has a boost, which is fun. So other than that,
wow, a boost.
You're probably ghosting. Shut up, Kristen.
The music is kind of cool here. Like when get that.
Oh, it gets music. Really hardcore. Yeah,
the crazy Halo music, which is why, like, I don't necessarily like when I play Halo 2. I usually stick to the Earth missions if I'm just like I want to play a mission of Halo 2. So I always kind of forget. Not forget's probably the wrong word, but I underestimate how fun this mission can be. Because I was enjoying myself. I'm like, man, I got a vehicle. I don't know what that Spectre thing over there is, but I got my Ghost. I'm having a good time. I'm not worrying about how Colin and David are bullying me all the time.
This mission, I don't know. It's like a panic-inducing mission for me because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of flood, and flood driving vehicles is just... It's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
So I try to get through this mission as quickly as possible. I just hop on a Ghost and just go.
Yeah. I always try and take the Scorpion if I can when you go into the first big room.
Yep.
I always try and take the Scorpion and drive that as long as I can, see how long I can last. So that's my preferred tactic. There's a lot of rocket launchers in this mission. There's a lot of flood with rocket launchers. There's a lot of rocket launchers.
God, the worst thing about the Flood having rocket launchers is they have no sense of self-preservation.
Nope.
So they'll shoot at you point blank, which is the worst. It's like so cheap. It's such a cheap death. It's like, God damn it.
So Krista, you didn't grab I usually try to grab the Scorpion too, at least just to play around with it because I love Scorpions. But Krista, do you just do a Ghost all the way through then?
I ended up with a Wraith towards the end, but mostly it was
I didn't
Ghost.
mess with those.
Yeah,
nice.
I grabbed a Wraith.
That makes sense. You're a Wraith lady though, right?
I am. I'm a very Wraithy lady.
I mixed it up in this mission, so there's a part where you have to drop your vehicle and run through the middle part where the terminal is, and then you come out the other end, find a bunch of flood and sentinels, and then there's a Wraith you can take. I always try and grab it, and then use a Wraith. It's fun.
Yeah, Wraiths, and I don't think I've driven a Wraith yet in this playthrough. You can do the turret also as well as the big cannon. Is that right?
No. You can do the turret. Yeah, you can do the turret and the Scorpion, but you only have access to the Wraith weapon, the plasma mortar, essentially, and a boost. So the boost can be fun.
Because it needs somebody else. You need another body in there too in the turret, right?
Yeah, you do. The gunner seat, as it were.
That's right. So there's just like it's chaos in this. This whole thing.
So much flood.
Lots of flood, lots of enforcers. There's a lot of enforcers in this.
Oh yeah, they just keep popping up. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And they fire off like a bunch of missiles or whatever they're throwing at you. And those like
rockety grenade things.
Yeah.
I find that this mission,
you stay still.
You can play the slow game, and you can kind of wait for them to kill each other and clear out the field a little more if you want to do that. Or if you're going fast enough, like with a Ghost, you can breeze through most of this vehicle part of the mission.
Yeah, like, you do have to be with a Ghost for sure.
Yeah,
I think
you can't do anything else. Maybe a
in
Warthog.
the big wide open area where there's a bunch of Wraiths and whatnot. I tried just hauling that tank through there, and it didn't work very well. It's just too slow. I think I died quite a few times trying to do that. but Ghost, if you're speedrunning, you just want to get to the next part, Ghost is definitely the way to go. Or Spectre. As a Spectre fast, I didn't drive it that much.
You can boost it. It's about the same speed as the Warhog, I guess. Maybe a little bit slower, but you can boost. Kind of give that extra speed.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, if you're speedrunning it, you'd take a Ghost over the Spectre any day.
Yeah. Well,
Or
the
the
part
Warthog,
time on
the
this
Warthog
is
would-
15 minutes.
Yeah. Right. The Warthog would be tough too because it's like there'd be a lot of bounces. You'd be bouncing all over the place. A lot of
You
flippage.
might, there would be a bit of flippage.
Mhm.
Word I would choose for that. Sure.
There is a skull. The skull's kind of hard to describe, but it is in one of the big open vehicle areas. You can go and grab that. It's called Sputnik.
Oh
And-
yeah, that's the gravity one, isn't it?
Probably. I forgot.
Like, like everything is like super bouncy and it messes with the physics of the game. It gives things like like low weight but extra momentum. I don't really know how to describe it, but that's kind of what it does.
We've said it before. Like all these skulls suck, but all of them together would super suck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't do that.
Well, the Sputnik one is fun. It can help you get like grenade jumps are super easy because you blast yourself really far, really high, all that kind of stuff. It's not a bad one, but it can be very difficult to use in certain situations.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing tunnels. We're winding up big, I don't know, like hills, I guess, with paths and killing lots of enforcers and yeah, this mission is chaos. I mean, it can be fun. I feel like if you had a buddy with you, this would be a good co-op mission. And I would say probably take your time on that, right? Like you wouldn't want to blast through it until it would be more frustrating than if you just like maybe each had a ghost or got inside a wraith and just took your time.
Yeah, in the vehicle segments, yes. When you're on the foot, it can be. I try and skip a lot of it by stealthing and camoing if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I definitely did with this playthrough. Because I was like, I don't need to fight these flood in these corridors anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stealth my way straight through. So I either sword dash through and then camo or something, or just run, just straight up run.
Right. Yeah, like, and it's weird. In Halo, I feel like I find myself running through a lot of missions just because I want to, I don't know, survive, I guess. Whereas in a lot of other games that are shooters, I feel like I take my time more or like clear out of an area. Maybe it's just because when flood is in the mix, you don't necessarily know how many of them are how if they're gonna infinite spawn or what.
Yeah, there's infinite spawns in Halo can take them.
Yeah, it's more of a panic-inducing. Like other games, like Call of Duty has some infinite spawn points. Like the old games anyway have infinite spawn points. But I think the fact that the flood just chase you is another reason. They'll just hunt you down. Whereas in other games, the AI will, they'll be there, but they won't necessarily always rush you the same way.
There's also an element to we've played these missions hundreds of times. So we're gonna run through certain segments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I remember this level. This was hard. I'm just gonna try to blast through it, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
We're just
You eventually
experienced.
Yeah, that's right. Experienced. Old. You eventually have to get out of your vehicle, whatever you're using at the time, and there's I don't know. It's like a building on fire. Is it the side of the library that's on fire? Is that what's going on here?
I think so.
I think it's a massive crashed structure or vehicle. I think they may even. I was trying to read through some of the stuff. I think it said it's like a Sentinel manufacturing platform or something that's crashed and on fire. So you run through this crashed vehicle essentially.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better terminology. That's pretty cool.
That reminds me that there was a point, and I forget if it was in the last mission or not, where you do see something crashing. Was that in this mission or the previous mission?
It is in this mission. I think it is the very end. I think that's what it is, Colin. At the very end of the previous mission, you see this structure in the sky getting shot by wraiths and blowing up and crashing. I think that's what we're going through, and that thing, because I read on the previous mission's lore, is a Sentinel manufacturing thing. It's a big factory.
Okay.
So I think that's what you're actually going through.
Because it almost looked like a man, we totally forgot to talk about that. But it almost looks like a UNSC ship.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's like a rectangle, for lack of a better description of it. No, I think that's it. Also, kind of interesting things, because we're kind of talking about now. This mission is the longest level in the entire trilogy, distance-wise. As the gondola ride triples the distance the player travels. Yeah.
Wow.
So, in terms of the amount of travelling you do on foot, or on your phone, from point A to point B, start to finish. So I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know if the Halopedia says trilogy, so I don't know if Halo 4 onwards, or ODST or Reach or anything like that has changes that up. I'm not sure. It's cool. There's a part of this where there's like a pelican flying with a scorpion tank attached. Apparently, if you get too close, the tank will fire on you because there's somebody in it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I did think about, I guess I didn't mention when we were talking about tanks earlier, that you're a Covenant, you're Thel, you're the Arbiter, and you get to commandeer a tank. So that's kind of cool. You're used to, normally you're driving a tank as Chief, but this time you're driving the tank with your crazy Sangheili hands and your clomps.
He does so much clip clopping through these 2 missions. It's just like clop, 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 clop.
Krista, did you notice? Because I didn't know that. If you zoom into the planet in the sky, apparently you can see an image of 343 Guilty Spark.
What?
Don't know how true that is. Yeah, I never heard this before, but it's in the Wikipedia trivia for this, or the Halopedia. So I'm like,
I want to own a Guilty Spark planet.
I know.
I'm calling Elon Musk and I'm putting in can you please carve Guilty Spark into Mars when you get there, Mr. Elon?
And apparently it is actually a constructor factory. That's what it's called. A crashed... There's a piece of trivia. I was trying to look for it. There it is now. There is a Sentinel that is armed with a Needler located on the leftmost side of one of the crashed Sentinel constructor factories. So that's what they are. It's a constructor factory. This was part of the idea that the Sentinels were to be armed with Needlers and possibly other weapons. The idea was dropped, but all but one was cut from the game. Not weird.
That would be really annoying, though.
A Needler.
So these Sentinel factories are like, I guess, floating outside of the Halo, then, right? That would make
They're
sense.
on the Halo, I think. If you really detailed. Mobile construction factory. Yeah, they're airborne. They're the big. That's the thing in the sky that's crashed. Cause
yeah.
If it's crashed, you think it's a vehicle or it's something mobile.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying it's interesting that would be, I guess not just on the Halo itself, but it's
probably you imagine physical things as well, factories and whatnot. But maybe there's just a sense of like, the way I don't know. And we have in Halo Wars, there's like mobile construction facilities. You know what I mean? When you go to other planets or go to other places, it helps to have these things on the move.
That's true. The other thing I didn't mention, we talked about the this is the big vehicles and all the enforcers. The enforcers, did you guys get picked up by the enforcers at all? Like they'll hover above you and like grab you?
No, I've seen.
Not in this playthrough, but I have in the past.
It's so cool. They like crush you.
Yeah, it's cool. You can see them do it to the flood vehicles as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist. Like, oh, that thing is... Okay, I'm up in the air. Okay, now I'm dead. Take it. Another reason not to take the tank in this mission. This is one of the few missions where the tank's not the best weapon. Or not the best vehicle.
Because
it can be with a bit of distance. Yeah, if you just don't get close.
Yeah.
You can get away with it.
That's true. But, I mean, you have to keep your distance and you have to be pretty accurate because the flood, just charge you. They do. And there's a lot of times where the flood boarded me and just took me out.
Yep. Definitely happened.
So we're out of the vehicle now, or whatever vehicle you chose. We're in this flaming building that builds Sentinels, and there's a terminal at the bottom. Yep. I think it's the first one that you get in.
Yeah, I think
it is in the first one. Yes,
it's the first room.
Yeah, that first one. So go down there and grab it. It's probably easy to miss because you're. I think you have to kind of proceed up on top to get through this, so you could easily miss that there. Grab that. We'll talk about that later. At this point, again, I'm just kind of sprinting through this whole area as much as possible. There's a lot of flood.
This is the bit I stealth through, or active camo through.
You guys are just so excited to get to the gondolas, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm using stealth. I'm using the energy sword, and I'm trying to think what my other weapon is. I don't know if I have a shotgun at this point. I might have run out of shotgun ammo, so...
I had a rocket launcher for a lot of it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, you can pick it up at the start, and then there's so much ammo for it around the place.
Krista, what did you grab?
I had a shotgun, and I think I carried a carbine through most of it.
Oh, yeah, I think I did have a carbine at one point. Yep, good call. Just feels like home. Love my carbine.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful carbines.
Yeah, so you go through some, like, cave things. So, yeah, now that you described that we're, like, in a crashed, factory thing, it makes a lot more sense to the layout of what you're walking through. So this thing must have crashed, like, right in front of the library, and you have to get through it in order to get to the library. But yeah, you have to kind of go down these little caves where there's a ton of flood, so either try to take them all out. If you're on Legendary, this is pretty rough. This is a rough area. They can just come up and smack you and kill you pretty easily. So you either have to be pretty precise, or be smart with the cooldown on the camo. What else before we kind of get to the gondolas? Anything else before we get there?
There's definitely like a really cool transition once you finally get into the library part as you're going up to the gondola.
Yeah, what is that thing?
I don't know, it's
just like a big open room.
Yeah, you're just entering a different building. It just kind of... I think the transition's really well from like all the chaos to this quiet, eerie, big space. It's just one of those Halo moments, I guess.
That's one of the rooms where I thought there might be like a secret in or something like that. Maybe there is, but I was like, whoa, there's this room and there's no flood anymore. What am I doing here? I think I had a ghost at that point, and I was like climbing up there. Then we go and hit a button, right? Go.
Yep.
Well, there's a cutscene before we hit the button. Like we don't actually hit the button, but then we get up to the cutscene.
You and Ertos have a moment to moment.
He puts his hand on your back and say, I'm gonna go get your back. I'm gonna hold him off. And you say, go do that, Ertos.
You have to go to the library by yourself. Just screaming and crying.
But Tartarus shows up.
Yeah.
Yay.
Over the comms.
I do like in the gondola how you can see the flood like getting ready to ambush you, and then Tartarus comes in and like hits them with the Phantom. I like that.
He's still not very useful, but
No.
he's there for some of it. And then we have the stupid gondola ride. That's stupid.
You just want to skip it?
Yeah.
I did give all of the elites on the gondola energy swords. It was super easy.
Yeah, that's what you gotta. I also on the higher.
You guys are just so pro.
Yeah. Also, what I tend to do on the higher difficulties, if you go under in the lower level of the gondola and climb into the little tunnel where the flood actually spawn, they don't spawn there. If you're there, you can just hide in there and wait out the gondola. That's what I do. Yeah.
Oh my
on
God.
like Legendary, I just crawl in there and sit and wait till the gondola stops moving. I go to make a cup of coffee, relax, put on some music. Wait till the terrible sequence is over, and then I just climb out and run.
Wait for the nightmare to end.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill all the flood to move on, right? The gondola just has to arrive.
Gondola just keeps moving. Just keeps going.
And the flood come in waves. So, but when you get out of there, are there just a million flood on the gondola at that point?
Yep.
What a good strategy.
Well, there's only the flood that drop in on the top, because none of them spawn from the bottom. Way more will spawn in below than above, exactly. If you're in the tunnel, they don't come up. So
I see.
If you go too far back, you'll fall out of the tunnel, so don't do that. But you can just chill out there. It's fine.
It's the laziest thing I've ever heard.
It's a long sequence. It's a lot of waves. A lot of waves. It's a good, it's a couple minutes long. It's like 5 minutes maybe on this gondola. It feels like it anyway.
Call on is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
It is a long sequence, lots of flood, and lots of just running around, slicing them.
Delta Halo is when the Forerunners were really trying to perfect their gondola technology.
It's true. It is true. Alright, so we finally get there. We get off the gondola. And then we have our moment of PTSD at this point, right?
Our PTSD room, yeah. It's just awful. It even plays like the creepy music. You're just like, oh God, why? Why am I here? What have I done? It almost feels like you're about to start something horrible, but it really doesn't. It just starts a cutscene.
Starts the cutscene.
But man, it
and-
makes me want to die every time. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore.
What's the title again on this little spot? Like it's like
That
you're
old familiar feeling.
Bungie even
And you're
knows.
in the library.
You're like, ha, loser.
That's right. It's almost like you're starting because the little title pops up when you're gonna kind of go into a new encounter. So it's almost like a tease, right? They're like, here you go. Now you get to do some library action, but you don't. You just kind of proceed up through, and then you trigger the cutscene, which is a
Fear
really cool
only lasts
cutscene.
for like 2 seconds. It is a really
That's
good
right.
cutscene. So
Mm-hmm. It's dope.
Who wants to do cutscene? How about David? David's cutscene.
Okay, I'm ready for this cutscene. This is a pretty badass cutscene. It cuts to pretty much Miranda and reaching over, and you can see the icon. Obviously, there is no elevator in this one, but they didn't have to travel down this elevator, whatever way. They just went straight to the icon, which you think should have done in Halo CE.
Well,
but
in
anyway.
Halo CE, we needed to lower the elevator to unlock the icon.
I got the impression that you didn't need to, that it was just the proximity of a reclaimer that activated the icon and released it. Because, that's just my own assumptions. I'm
Maybe
not sure
it was
if
a weird
say,
guilty spark thing. He was trying to do protocol.
yeah. And then maybe it's like, I don't know, if say like the Arbiter was here, would it have activated in the presence of the Covenant and not a reclaimer? I don't know.
Probably not. I would think not.
Probably not. Yeah, which is interesting. But anyway, Miranda recovers the icon by using a cable to reach across, and then it falls, as you think, and then Sergeant Johnson is there to the rescue and grabs it and grabs the thing and helps her, pulls her up. It's a cool sequence where he's like,
I like
"Your
how
father never
cavalier
asked
she
me for
is.
help."
She's like, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
get this.
Yeah, no bother.
I can reach
It is strange that she's the one doing it as a ship captain and not like an actual away team of Marines. You
Well,
think
they
it
would have
be.
had a away team of Marines,
know.
but they all got flooded.
There's a lot of them got flooded, and there is a cool sequence then after that where like Johnson is like, sound off Marines, how's our exit? And there's silence, which you expect there to be. So I don't know if this Arbiter killed these or the flood got them. But the Arbiter charges out the shadows, Johnson shoots at him with his BR and has like a cool little fight. And Arbiter pins him up against the wall, and Johnson's just so cool, he goes, how you doing?
Yeah.
And he just throws him away and kind of pretty much knocks him out. And then Miranda tries to rescue him with her SMG, which everyone knows it sucks. So
Why is
she's
she
trying
using
to
an SMG? That's right.
I don't know. She's using her SMG on the Arbiter. He kind of runs away back into the shadows and attacks her again, knocks her down, and then pretty much before he can recover the icon, Tartar shows up with his brutes, and they pretty much capture the two humans. He uses his crazy gravity hammer to suck Miranda over to him in a
Gross.
really kind of weird way. I know it's pretty gross. But then he pretty much initiates what is the biggest kind of thing in this game, which is the Great Schism, where the brutes and the hierarchs turn on the elites and murder the living shit out of them. So it's kind of like, obviously this is a huge event, especially in the kind of history of the elites, where they're betrayed by the Covenant, and Tartarus kind of shoots the Tartarus shoots the Arbiter off the cliff into this.
He uses
tunnel,
like
I
his
guess.
grab
I don't
hammer,
know.
like
Yeah,
grab.
he
Yeah,
pushes
just
him
shoots him
away.
Yeah,
Fool!
blows
They
him away.
ordered me to do it, and then Arby's face is just
Yes.
amazing.
Just devastated.
Oh,
No,
so
he's
sad.
been betrayed. Because he was still loyal, like he still believed in the great journey.
He wouldn't
and
be
he-
doing anything he's doing if he didn't believe the hierarchs. Like,
Exactly. So
Yeah,
and
because
then
he was
that-
shamed, right? And he wanted them
Yeah,
to
that's
make
it.
up for his failure.
but he did see as being given the title of Arbiter as a great honor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even what it
it
is.
means he gets to work directly for the prophets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, as we said in the last mission, the changing of the guard, it was I don't know, maybe not obvious, but like something weird was happening because the brutes were taking over, and then behind the scenes there was some scheming
Shenanigans.
happening. That's right. And then then the brutes are gonna start attacking the elites now, which is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts. Do you guys think it's like every mission well, not every mission, but a couple missions in Halo 2, like Tartarus just kind of shows up and like steals stuff.
Yeah, he's always getting the credit for Arbiter's
Your
work.
princess is in another castle. Steals Miranda.
Yep, steals 343 with his gravity hammer.
It's
You guys
the
know the name of
yoink
that gravity
hammer. It's just like yoink.
It is.
It does have a name.
I think
And
it
I
has
think
a
it's-
name. We'll
think it's
we'll look it up
detailed
for
in
when
Harvest.
we. Yeah, there's an encounter with Tartarus. Spoiler, but we'll talk about his gravity hammer then. Yeah. So this mission is a lot of. It's the longest mission. That's cool. That's a cool fact. The longest of the original trilogy. Anyway.
There's obviously a lot of parallels to Two Betrayals. So they both take place on a snowy terrain. As you fight the Flood and Sentinels, it involves the Index being stolen and involves betrayals at the beginning and at the end of the level, and with someone helping help guides the player to the Index. So there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, I think 343, or excuse me, Bungie, they do that. They do that a lot on purpose. You know, we talk about how in Halo CE, what they kind of reuse a lot of assets, and part of that was just because of the technology at the time. But I think in Halo 2, they purposely write in those parallels.
Well, the rings are supposed to be similar, so it would make sense.
Yeah, right.
For it to be
Yeah,
similar.
the mission design doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Right, yeah. Doing something similar in a different way or with a different faction, that sort of thing.
Well, it
So
would
I
make
think that's good
sense
writing.
for one of the big missions on any Halo is to get the Index.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other fun nuggets before we wrap it up?
No.
Other than the usual stuff, it's the last level in Halo 2 where your human vehicles are usable. It's the last level in the trilogy where constructors are officially your enemy. Yeah. It's the only level in the Halo series, the flood control vehicles, we said that. And it is pretty much, it's the last level with enforcers as well.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they're just here in this little section of the game.
They're not really talked about in the extended lore either.
No, they don't show up again.
It's
I
interesting.
forgot they existed. I saw it in the opening cutscene, I think in the last mission. I was like, what is that? Totally forgot about it.
That's not as bad as Kristen.
Hey,
Not knowing what a Spectre is.
Yeah, that's way worse.
you guys are so mean. I quit.
Damn it, who's gonna do terminals now?
I don't
Fuck
know.
that.
Right in the middle of the
Krista.
episode.
Will you come back to us, please, just to do the terminals?
Fine, just to do the terminals. Gotta be really nice
Alright.
to me though.
Can you do the terminal now?
Yeah. Basically, this terminal is Guilty Spark telling Rifume that he's really stupid.
And pretty much calling out everything that we've been thinking for like 2 games, if not more. That the elites are stupid.
Yeah.
What are you doing following the hierarchs?
Like, it's basically like, did you ever question these guys? They just show up and then you just believe everything they say? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're stupid. You're so stupid. He's like...
But I do... Sorry, go on, Groovy.
Okay, he even kind of teases him. He's like, well, so they got these relics to build weapons and then bring the world of your gods. Am I a holy relic?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
that's
totally sticks it to him.
Because he's like, I'm not a god. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I do like the way that it isn't just he meets the Oracle and then he immediately becomes a rebel. It's good to see that over the period of time, these conversations, that it dawns on him that how stupid he's been and his race has been, and that it's a glaring thing of like you're being lied to. I like that.
Yeah,
Other than that, the terminal's kind of meh.
it is. It's interesting to see the relationship that these two have.
Yeah,
Like, just the
isn't just a
conversations
quick
they
thing.
have, and Guilty Spark just being so... Just...
his sense of humor is just like
It's
really-
It's so good. He's just so
really front and
confused
center.
over the whole thing. He's like, why in the world would you think that these machines are sent by gods? I mean, our mission was to cleanse the universe and have you guys live a different life and not try to kill yourselves. You guys are so stupid.
All right.
I mean,
Let's
that's
do-
about it. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a lot of
Yeah.
substance to it.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's interesting to include, but I also think they 343 added terminals for every mission. I think they Not all of them are going to be home runs.
Oh, it's a lot of it. Like, Halo 2 has a good amount of missions.
Yeah. So, interesting, but not super...
It's more fluff than anything else. Just kind of fluffing out the characters.
Yeah. Lots of fluffage.
I ship them.
Fluff.
All right, let's do community. I felt good about this community question, David.
Do you? You like this one?
Yeah, I felt real good about it.
I like this one too. It's okay.
So, Colin Perkins in the Halo Facebook group created a poll. And he said, what Halo vehicle would you use for your commute to work? There are many choices, and I will read them you in the order that they are voted in. So we have the Banshee.
Yeah,
yes.
Of course, right?
We have the Drop Pod, which I voted for. We have the Pelican, which no one should vote for because you'd never make it to work.
You'd just crash, yeah.
The Warthog, which would be cool and somewhat practical. The Ghost, which would be dope. High Charity Post-Flood Outbreak is just a ridiculous answer.
I just love, like, just the visual image of showing up to work with just crashing an entire, like, planet-sized spaceship into your parking lot. Just
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to do that.
Yeah.
Totally destroy their place of work with a miniature half-planet piece.
And that's if they're lucky. I mean, the unlucky ones get absorbed by the flood.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's post-flood, so he just wants to infect flood.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to destroy his place. Who wrote that? Cody. What's wrong with you?
Oh my god, he's my friend. Yeah.
Really? Where does he work, Krista? Why should
he works at an army
worried?
base. He works at a gun store in an army base.
God damn it, Cody. It's not cool. Then we have the Phantom, which would be pretty cool. We have the Scorpion, which I don't know if you want to rock. You're so
You would
slow, you'd
terrify.
definitely be late for work that day. And the Mongoose, which nobody voted for.
Of course, because it would break on your way to work too.
It would
You
just
would flip over and kill yourself.
You would go
probably,
over a bump and it would break apart.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think a drop pod would be dope.
Yeah, I think Ian added that, and I was like, oh, God, that'd be amazing.
Just imagine how cool that would be if you just drop pod onto like the doorstep of work and you just the door just falls open and you just stroll out.
Just
Bad
casually.
would you feel just
You're
strolling out like
I live in space. Sorry, it's the fastest way to get here.
yeah. It's no biggie.
The only thing that's impractical is you wouldn't be able to get home.
No, you would.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
You need a
Unless
ride.
you use the Covenant ones that go back up into space.
Do they go back up?
The ones in Halo 4 or 5, I think, did.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
All right. I think we posted it on Twitter's. Did anything happen on Twitter, Krista? And then
Yeah,
we
so
did- we
Twitter, I
Discord.
can't have the multitude of choices, but the Drop Pod was most popular, followed by the Warthog, Banshee, and then the Ghost. I did have a couple replies where people just basically said, I love how the Drop Pod's an option, just crash through the roof of the office, kick out the door. Could you possibly make any more noise? That's from Evan. Thank you, Evan. That made me really happy. So, there you go.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, I think that's it. That's good.
Yay.
Now we're going to find out some weird things in the next episode.
Oh, you be ready for us to be explaining and dissecting basically every word in this mission.
Yeah.
He said they. What does he mean by they?
What?
Who are they?
Krista, spoilers.
Oh, God,
All
I'm
right.
so sorry.
That'll do it for our debriefing of Quarantine Zone from Halo 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering Gravemind.
Ooh,
Send us your thoughts at
spooky.
podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolved.
Evolved?
Evolved.